Today's September 17th, 2025, and I actually made a couple videos for you, my grandchildren, and for me, which I have them, I have them on my phone or on the cloud or whatever. And for myself, because they never got posted to my YouTube account because they got a copyright flag. I don't know, I put some stuff from Nova, PBS on there. Anyway, so since those never posted or anything, of course, since the only thing I can really count on is actually something online, because I've had a lot of stuff as personal property, whether in, tapes or on a laptop or on a phone, and it gets stolen, or like in the tapes, I mean, they naturally degrade if you don't have them like sealed up, properly. Like I seen somebody had Bob Dylan tapes sealed up property, from all the old tapes, and he liked to take stuff with his movie camera, but he put everything like in steel boxes and airtight, and nothing can get in to disturb the magnetic kind of signature on the, how they do it. They put it on like tape. So, but so anyway, I just wanted to just recap the main things. One is that I realized that I need to go ahead and add a fourth captain to my repertoire of admiration, as I in my life trying to stand upon the shoulders of the greats. Okay. All right, well, I said, I got Sun Tzu, and I got the Buddha, and I got Jesus Christ. Well, I think I need to add, another captain, which is kind of like, a team, between, even though these two guys never met, Albert Einstein and Stephen Hawking. Because Stephen Hawking, he stood on Albert Einstein's shoulders and understood the math. There's a lot of people that could understand, that went into Albert Einstein's math, like E equals mc squared. E is energy, and m is mass, and squared is like how big mass is, I think. But mass and energy can equal each other. Okay? Well, the way that thing came to the conclusion, the power of that equation was in blowing up Nagasaki and Hiroshima. I'm not sure if it's Hiroshima or Hiroshima. But anyways, two places in Japan. One was hydrogen and one was, they were both like fusion, but it's like a very, very small amount of matter colliding or something somehow, like, and it's a atomic fusion. It's an atomic bomb. And it's only like 0.09 or something like that in the weight of a smallest scale, okay? It ain't much. But it's matter. And then from that, it becomes an explosion of energy. Well, all right. Stephen Hawking, he stood on Albert Einstein's, and Albert Einstein, by the way, like, I don't know what part of that Nova or that PBS broadcast I wanted to put a little clip in from, which got it a copyright. They didn't do it. But anyway, I think on that one, I was trying to point out that my dad, he used the word calculus, and somebody in one of those programs, used the word calculus. And it seemed like, my dad, okay, like I felt like, he was, being dead now, but even though he's dead, still as if, he's still alive, because I hope he is. But if not, and it's just all in my recollection and my memory, all right, well, it is what it is. I don't know. But this is what he's saying. Do the calculus. That's what my dad is saying. Do the calculus. And nobody did the calculus better than Einstein and Stephen Hawking. I'm just saying, all right? Now, there's been a lot of them. The whole, all quantum physics stuff. I mean, Albert Einstein, he never really went into quantum physics, but if it wasn't for him, I mean, people wouldn't have been able to get, I mean, look, man, it's like climbing a mountain. You can get up a little bit and, rest there a while. Go up a little bit more. Anyway, so that was, for my dad. I wanted to make note of that yesterday, or the day before, but it never posted. My dad would be saying, do the calculus. And, that's why I need to incorporate, I think, at least from, Einstein to Hawking. There's been a lot of people that have done a lot of work in quantum physics, and so we know a lot more than what we used to. And my whole experience in life is based on what I used to know. And now, we know more. And I know more too than I used to know. Oh. Now look, but this one doc here, okay, that's a recap of at least what I was going to say on one part. And that is, my dad, talking about calculus. And there was another one that I was thinking about, but I forgot what it is right now. But this is the time of Charlie Kirk. I don't remember. Maybe it's something to do with Charlie Kirk. I don't know. But anyway, look. Well, and just while I'm at it, look. I got, that's Richard Wolff down there. 10 minutes ago, Donald Trump made a big mistake. I don't know. That's Richard Wolff. I've never seen a picture of him with like an expression like that before. And then the Jewish voice, I don't know what that is. And then there's other one over here. I don't know, Celebrate, whatever that is. It looks like it might be something scientific, but Israel, Charlie Kirk, and the weaponization of murder. Well, every day I think about, what I'm going to put in my front yard for like a sign and a billboard. And every day I come up with something new. But I know I'm going to do it because the times call for it. I've never been in a time like this before in my life. I mean, and look, if anybody has been alive on this earth, from the time long enough that they were cognizant of what the heck is actually going on and everything, and actually paying attention to, anything other than themselves, well, they would have understood, this president, I don't even want to mention his name, this president's methods and behavior. He accuses everybody of the stuff that he does. He demonizes everybody. Everybody is his complete enemy if they're not completely on his side. Democracy is something that is in the way. He doesn't believe in like the dialectic or the synthesis. He believes in one person rule. and everybody else sucking his ass. Okay? That's what it comes down to. Sucking his ass. The most repulsive thing. Sucking somebody's ass. I was going to call this one TJ Campo because I really wanted to talk about, I was thinking about my buddy, you know, Tim, because I correspond with him, and I have been corresponding with him about my thoughts about what I'm going to put in my front yard and everything. And so and then I went to see him recently, and he lives in the same city that my friend TJ Campo was from. And when I was in undergraduate school, Southeastern College in Lakeland, Florida, he was my roommate for a long time because we lived in an apartment, you know, with five of us, you know. And me and TJ shared the same room. We had bunk beds. So anyway, I was imagining seeing him because, you know, I was thinking about him because he's from the same place as my buddy Tim is, Stewart. And, well, but that's not where I'm going to end this one. I'm going to end this one on sucking ass. Yeah, because that's exactly what I do not want you to do, or I don't want anybody to have to do that. It's a degrading situation. A person can be pushed into the point, you know, or be forced to suck somebody's ass. That's metaphorically speaking, of course, but the imagery, of course, is what really makes the point. And, you know, Donald Trump, you know, he just thinks people should suck his ass. And if you can't see that by now, you gotta open your eyes, man. But hopefully you leave my grandchildren, it's gonna be a thing from the past. But, you know, these are my journal entries for the present time that I'm living in right now. And I'm hoping that my spirit toward, you know, making the world a better place and stuff actually comes through. Because Donald Trump ain't making the world a better place, man. I mean, you don't have to be really, really smart to be able to actually to see that. You just got to be honest. There's no way around it. Because I am actually honest. And I'm telling you. Right? Like, I'm not trying to bullshit or pull any kind of plan, or I ain't got no ulterior motive. I'm telling you what is so obvious to me. But I do understand that there is a lot of propaganda. And people, if they actually like believe that like stuff like Fox News is like actually real news and stuff like it might have a little bit in it, but it it charades as real news. It's not actually real news. And they don't even say that they're real news. They say they're entertainment because they are. They're not real news. But people believe that it's real news. They can say all kinds of stupid, really outrageous bullshit to like set a narrative. And they do that. And they've been sued over that. And they've been found guilty of that. But they keep doing it because it makes money. And because the donors pay for that. Hey? So my dad would say, do the calculus. Whew. All right. You know what? I was gonna call this one something about don't be ass fucked or something like that. But I'm gonna put a story in my front yard. I'm not gonna say ass fucked. I'm gonna say ass hucked with an H. And I'm going to talk about the ass huckers. I'm going to make a story, point of view story, I do believe. along with a bunch of climbing things. I'm gonna hang stuff from my trees. Alright, so this is the day. September 17th, 2025. Do the calculus. That's what my dad is saying. I wanted to make that note. Alright, bye.